What's up, guys? Chris here from Mainely Mesh, bringing you guys a quick review of the Brine Clutch 4 series. So here I have the Clutch 4 High School as well as the Clutch 4X. I've been messing around with these in the store for kind of a while now, letting them kind of settle in, dial in, really see how they're designed. Really neat new offering with a new piece of technology that I wanted to talk about from Brine that I have a feeling you're going to see a lot more in some of their future heads. So Brine recognized that some of their most recent clutch heads, in particular the Clutch Elite, which kind of dovetailed into the RP3X, they were getting a little flimsy when they were using all that core tech. So the core tech was kind of playing off of I think the core tech came first and then C channel. I mean, most of these patents come around the same time. But the C-channel technology from STX incorporates an I-beam structure, which is, from an engineering perspective, a really solid shape, allows you to maintain a lot of stiffness and strength without really sacrificing the weight. The Core-Tech, on the other side of things, seemed to allow things to warp a little bit more quickly and just kind of created a flimsier head. So people always talk about the Nas X as being the lightest head ever made, when actually it was the Brine Clutch Elite X. So the Nas weighed in around, I think it was like 4.3 ounces, and the Clutch X Elite was 3.9, if I'm correct. Obviously the Ghost 7 wipes those all away, but that's a different story. So it was nice that they were like, okay, look, we've got one of the most popular head shapes of all time. We need to beef things up a little. So they definitely dialed things in, dialed things up a notch when it came to the Clutch 4. So this is a much, much stiffer head, and it introduced a new technology that they are calling VeriFlex. So you can see right here, it says VeriFlex down at the throat, and you have these kind of gray accents running through the head. What the VeriFlex technology does is it kind of uses their dual shot mold process in a way that makes a lot more sense. So if you guys remember, they used to have the dual shot molds, and Warrior used these two where they would do different colored inserts on the sidewalls, and they would always like break out and warp the head more quickly. So that wasn't that great because it was just different pieces of plastic essentially glued together, for lack of a better word. I doubt that's the actual process. But what this does is it actually injects a stiffer plastic in kind of the lower third of the head, while allowing the rest of the head to be kind of a regular shape. So what that means is the throat here is super stiff, and the top of the head is just kind of your normal durable plastic. They also kind of kept a straighter, more modern aesthetic with these sidewall struts, keeping things really harsh, really sleek. And overall, it made a much stiffer head, but also, unfortunately, a much heavier head. So I believe these weighed in at like 5.3 ounces, I think. Unfortunately, I strung them up and I forgot the weight unstrung way back when. But it was definitely +5. And to me, that wasn't really what the Clutch line was all about. The Clutch line was about kind of the modern attacker having a light head, this kind of balanced low pocket that you want to have a light head for so you can get the passes off quick. And although it's an appreciated increase of the strength in the Clutch line, I think it kind of just pulled away from that whole attacking mindset and was kind of this head that couldn't really decide whether it was an LSM modeled head or an attack modeled head. So I liked the high school version a little bit more. It seemed to just have a more rigid profile. The one thing I did kind of notice, and I wonder if this is an effect of the VeriFlex, so it did start hourglassing ever so slightly at the back. Let's see if you can see it a little here. So you can't see it all that well, but it did hourglass the back rail a little bit more. And if you look at the flex point, it seems to have hourglassed right above the VeriFlex. And I just worry a little bit that sometimes when you have two materials in a head, it'll actually start to bend. Although one of them might be stronger, it kind of unintentionally creates a weak point when it all converges back to the weaker plastic, less stiff plastic. So I worry that they're having a little bit of this effect, but it does kind of create a cool thought of, maybe incorporating the Nas X with the very flex technology. So imagining you have those cored out inner edges, and then you just inject a stiffer plastic in between, kind of like the Warrior Evo TI line and the Razor TI way back when, except with plastic instead of the titanium. So I think Brine has a cool technology that they can totally run with, but I also think that they didn't quite nail this one, mostly just because of the weight. You know, it's still the clutch line. It's still got that classic offset, still has that nice feel. It's just a heavier head, and in my kind of balance point theory, it just requires a little bit of a bulkier shaft to kind of make it feel balanced. Otherwise, you just feel like you've got this heavy head dragging you down. So overall, really cool offering, really good aesthetics. Just really like the way, and you can see the styling even more so on the black version. It's just got a really nice look to it. I think Brine has been kind of underrated these last few years, so I'm really interested to see what they're bringing out with the RP32. I think we're going to see a real surprise from them, and I don't think they've been getting enough credit for what they've been pushing, whether it's the King, whether it's this head, whether it's pushing something new with the Triumph. I think the Triumph could have been done a little bit better in terms of the stringability, but overall, two cool options. Make sure you check these guys. You check check out Brine on Instagram. Check out these heads. So we won't be carrying these just because they are a little bit too bulky by my standards. But other than that, thanks so much. Have a good one. Catch you guys next time is my phrase.